Rolling.
3097 seconds, Bays Boys podcast live in the studio.
Did you just go back to the NPR voice?
No, not at all.
Are you going to start telling us that we're getting ready to rumble?
Let's get ready to... No, I fucked that all too.
Give us the he's on fire, some NBA jam. Fucking
pump up the jams. No, we're not going to do that.
Shout out to Butters.
Shout out to Butters for
go right
recommending a
into it.
movie that we
Took us fucking
6
whole
months.
year. Nobody's counting.
Yeah. Butters, thank you for recommending the movie we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, Joe Skelly was scared, so it took us a little while, but I sat him down today and I was like, look, man, we're going to watch this.
And we did.
Today.
And we did.
Twice in a row. It was so good. At least some of us did.
So, what movie are we going to talk about today?
Here, piggy, piggy, pig.
We're going to talk about Pig, starring Mr. Nicolas Cage.
I thought we agreed that had to be Nick Cage.
No,
Nicholas.
Nicolas
Right.
Cage after
Nicolas
today's performance.
Cage after, yeah. So, spoiler alert PSA.
Yes.
We're going to talk a lot about a lot of scenes in the movie. So if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it.
Even with the spoiler alert.
And if you're on the fence, then you just listen to us and then you go watch it. And if you forget spoilers, then you also listen to us, go watch it, and then come back and listen again.
And then write us. Tell us if we're wrong.
Or that we're just trash pieces of shit.
And we should kill ourselves.
Whoa.
Hey.
You can't say that on the radio.
Well, the cat's out of the bag.
Uh-oh.
All right.
That's a sticker, you know?
Yeah, it is.
So IMDb coming in at a 6.9 rating.
On the movie Pig.
Who let their kids vote on adult movies in that website?
That's all I get.
That's the question.
I can't disagree with you on that.
It's either that or people who eat corn dogs all day.
No, listen.
And we know what the fuck you got to do with those people. So Adam Carolla settled that long time ago. So no, honestly, I didn't watch the movie.
All the kids were sitting in their car seats, and the moms hand them the tablet, and they think they're watching. I don't know.
They watch the trailer. They're like, "He's gonna kill the pig." No,
6.9. It's terrible.
Worst movie we've ever seen. I really don't understand it.
What, the movie or the rating?
No, the rating, the filming, the director.
First of all,
everything.
The cinematography on it was great.
The color grading, the entire theme of the movie.
Yeah. And how it was structured, right?
Oh,
it was structured like a
phenomenal.
classic play, right? In 3 acts.
Yeah, I still don't know what to say. I watched that entire movie the first time before you got to the studio, thinking that he was going to put a knife in someone's neck. That's what I was waiting for almost the whole time.
And it never happens.
And even maybe some more weirder shit.
Right.
Like I was prepared. I was like, this might be like a foreign film type thing.
Like this is going to be dark.
Right. This is going to be some Last House on the Left shit. You know, with a pig.
Right.
With a pig. Like,
right.
And there's been a lot of those coming back, you know. You got old John Wick here still pumping out, you know, the last 9 of his movies over a dog. Right. So I said a pig is dirty. So this movie's going to be fucked up. I feel like some people are going to die in a pig pen.
Right. And that's not what happened at all.
No. There was nothing. There was no violence almost at all.
So let's give the listeners a basic synopsis of the movie.
Basically, weird, lonely guy living in a cabin in the woods has a truffle pig, which is stolen in the middle of the night one night, and he goes looking for her.
Yes.
And that's it. There's no trickery. But my man's is powerful.
It is
in
a powerful
communication.
One. Absolutely. Sometimes less is better, and he absolutely proves it in the movie.
Oh, I think he has like less than 50 lines in the movie.
But, you know, the interesting thing is, right, and maybe this is why he felt it was one of his best roles he's ever played, is that in a lot of movies today, they try to fill the void of time with just useless chatter.
Right.
And in this movie, that's not the case.
So the direction, again, was amazing. I thought it was just realistic. That was my part. So one of the really fucking creepy parts was when they're at the end where he's standing outside the station and he's like, I think I'm gonna walk. Or no, he's standing there and the guy looks back and goes, are you okay? And then he goes, I think I'm gonna walk. And he looks at him again and says the same exact fucking line, but it's totally different. Are you okay? right?
Right.
You use the same line, cut to the same two scenes, and you still had it totally different. I don't think you're seeing that kind of quality work.
No. The direction of the movie was fantastic.
Tommy Skelly's losing his mind right now. Listen, I again was on the fence of whether or not, and I have a huge love for Nick Cage.
Right.
I mean, come on, he's Castor Troy. Dual gold 1911s, small of the back. Take care of his little brother while dominating the entire West Coast all at the same time. But old Pig Boy, he was dropping fools with the word. No sword required.
No sword required. Right.
How?
Listen, because he spoke the truth that people don't want to hear.
And so my favorite movies are when you, first of all, if you watch a character go from 0 to 100, isn't that everybody's favorite? I mean, you watch a fucking Superman movie, you know what's going to happen, right? Some bullets will be bouncing off eyeballs. Somebody's getting in their car and their car's getting thrown into the jail with no evidence, like we said.
Like Batman.
Actually, hold on. Superman usually waits till the cops comes out and he talks to them.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why whoever
Superman's
Clark sends
beloved.
up. Uh-huh. They
Batman
come out there.
is not.
Remember, in all the comics, fucking Superman's with the cops giving them a briefing. He's like, caught these guys stealing fish out of the king's pond. Right? He's like, here's the car
Superman,
full of
thank
people.
God you're here.
Right.
This psycho's in there with a bomb. Will you go in there and defuse the bomb and save the hostages? We can't get in.
And all he does is zip, zip, and he's back with the bad guy.
Yep.
Batman? No.
He's rogue.
Yeah. Okay.
Batman's rogue.
Well, we figured that. So, anyways, old boy here though comes into the.
So let's set the scene.
What I was saying though, I didn't finish the point on that. Is those movies, you know what's going to happen. In these movies, the character develops and changes through the entire movie.
Would you say Nicolas Cage's character changed in this movie?
Oh, absolutely not. But look how he changed everyone around him.
That was what was impressive.
Right. So Amir did change.
Amir is one of the
entire
characters,
movie.
right?
Yes, he is the supporting actor who comes in, and he's basically the only guy who has contact with this gentleman in the woods. And so when the gentleman in the woods needs something, he's the first person he calls.
Or the guy shows up because he doesn't even have a phone.
Right.
The guy, it's just an understood agreement that Amir shows up every Thursday and he supplies him with truffles that he had foraged, the freshest truffles that you can find.
Right. Prior to his needing him, in which case where he showed up and drove him around to escort him through the city.
Now, the movie's filmed in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Cage lives way off in the woods. Nicolas Cage lives way off in the woods.
Yep.
Loses his pig and was like, fuck that. I'm going to go get my pig back. And he walks out of the woods.
You know why Tommy Skelly's going to be even more mad? Is because that's something Tommy Skelly would do.
Oh, without a question.
He'd be like, you took my pig? I'm coming. Right?
Right.
I could see it.
And hell will follow, right?
Right. Along with Joe Skelly.
Right.
Right. Looking for a piggy.
Right.
So he calls this gentleman, and you can tell right off the rip that they have no relationship.
No, it's a business transaction relationship.
110%.
It's a transactional relationship.
Absolutely. And you see that right from the beginning. And as the story continues, it just changes.
No, it's interesting because the character that buys his truffles, he's a young man. He's trying to make it big in the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be the number one supplier.
As a supplier in the high-end restaurant business.
And so he's all about his image. Now, Nick Cage is dirty as fuck.
Uh-huh.
My man probably hasn't showered in 6 weeks.
Ooh.
Lives in the same dirty clothes that he's been living in for, who knows, 10 years?
Those pit stains?
Yeah, 10 years.
Right.
And Nicolas Cage gives zero fucks about his appearance or his image. Now, what we learn throughout the movie is Nicolas Cage was a famous restaurateur and chef who just dropped off the grid. But you don't know why. And so as he goes on his quest and he goes back to the big city to try to track down the people that stole his pig from him.
He gives you a little view
of who he used to be.
And the underbelly of the food industry.
Oh, yes.
Which, listen, we've talked about this before. You cannot get deep into a culture or art or hobby without running into some underground circuit.
Oh, the seedy belly of it all.
Right.
There's a seedy belly to all of it.
Exactly.
Like when we watched that movie about the Pez guy, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
there was that huge underground
right,
for the Pez distributors and buyers, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And you can't escape it. And this was an interesting take on the restaurant side.
No, without question.
Without any question.
So at a certain point, which I found really interesting, where Nicolas Cage's character goes to this underground, literally an underground venue, where all the restaurant workers get together.
Mm-hmm.
And allegedly they're holding fights, but they're not really
right, fights. Right. Yep. No, they are not.
They're paying lots of money for the sous chefs and all the other people to beat the fuck out of the chef that they work for. Out of their head chefs.
Out of the people they work for.
Right.
That is so crazy to me.
For shit tons of money.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know where this idea
came up from. For a fleeting 10 seconds.
For 10 seconds.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. It'd probably work.
Oh, right.
Right?
That's how they handle business.
Imagine seeing your buddy. You're like, hey, Jimmy, I got you at the end of this week, motherfucker. I've been saving all my pennies.
Right. Now, here's something that's really interesting. In Japan, right, at the workplace, it's obedience to orders from your boss.
Of course. Right.
However, it's encouraged for the boss to go out drinking with the workers at the end of the day. Okay. Now, when you're out drinking, you could say whatever the fuck you want to say to your boss.
Ooh.
And you go out drinking and you can go the fuck off and you go back to work the next day and it's all forgiven.
Smart. Good compartmentalization.
Right? It allows the workers some relief in that high stress atmosphere that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
The boss gets to hear these things. And if they're a smart boss, they might take heed.
Mm-hmm. And adjust. Right. And it's in a safe space. The boss can buy the beer so it relaxes everybody. Although I don't think any beer's ever relaxed anybody per se, but sure. At least if he's paying for it, maybe he's not taking a licking.
Right. So, I mean, this was an interesting take on maybe perhaps this industry's version of that.
So I liked how when he got up for his turn to win, not only did everybody throw down to knock his clock off because he was either famous or they didn't like him, but the gentleman who paid the most looked like he would actually age match working for him.
Oh, yeah. That was really cool. That was really cool. He wasn't a young kid, right?
He was an older gentleman who looked like he was probably, because he still had, everyone else had kind of regular clothing. He had like his full, I'm a waiter, I wear a fancy fucking suit when I wait on people shit garb going. And as soon as he saw him, man, he dropped a fucking wad down on the ground and was like, this one's mine.
Right.
This has been resonating for 10 years.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Right. I'm still in this fucking industry because I'm wearing this stupid fucking smock.
Right.
You know? Fuck all of you.
But the fucked up thing is the guy who is running the alleged fights, you know, it's supposed to be a 10-second timer. Let it go.
Oh, good other. Yeah. Good other.
30 seconds.
Yeah. So he got his in too.
Right. And the reason Nicolas Cage allowed himself to get whooped is because he was looking for information on his pig.
And he knew old boy would bite the carrot.
Right. And he knew the guy that was running the fights would provide the information if he allowed this to happen.
Mm-hmm. And he made this money for him and sat on that timer. And there you go. And
the guy gave up the goods.
He did. And that led him to the next scene, which was one of my favorites.
Oh, so long story short, Nicolas Cage ends up at a restaurant, a super high-end restaurant that you can almost never get in the door on because it's so booked out. But he uses his backroom connections to get a table at lunch. They come out and they present this fucking super high-end food, and they're like, it's smoked in pine cones, and it's seafoam foie gras. I mean, all kinds of crazy.
Carbon frozen, filleted.
Right, and the lady pulls the cover off the food, and Nicolas Cage grabs one bite of the food, takes a bite, and goes, I want to speak to the chef.
Oh, man.
And Amir, the guy that's with him, is shitting his pants.
Yep.
Because he knows it's not going to be a pleasant thing.
Mm-hmm. He specifically asks him to go easy, which he does not.
He does not.
We shouldn't get into what happens in the scene, but that's definitely one of my favorites.
It's verbal combat, and it's all one-sided.
Yeah, I don't even.
Nicolas Cage just
I think it's
lays
like
it out,
verbal deconstruction.
much like the guy said what the food was.
Right. And the fact that this guy, that he had this information in his head and was able to just pull these fucking strings on this dude, and he came unraveled. Like, my mans didn't know what to do. By the way, whoever the fuck that guy is as an actor, phenomenal.
Did a great job.
No, yeah, every expression on his face. I'd watch any movie with that guy. He just took a fucking ass beating. Like, I love how he was standing there and he goes, tell him who you are. Looks at him, and that dude was like, may I please join you, chef?
Yes.
And then sat down.
And had one of the best bottles of wine in the house brought out to the table.
Right. And then had his world ruined.
Ruined. And the really interesting thing is, Nicolas Cage never once raised his voice.
Nope. And it wasn't malicious in any way, shape, or form.
He just laid out facts.
And asked questions.
Right.
Put a little pokey in the plot. I don't know. Was that, you know what that was, right?
Yes.
That was Tommy Skelly driving by. He knows we're talking about him.
If he's driving a fucking Moto Guzzi, that was him rolling by.
We are in trouble. He's on his Grom. He loves those little Groms. He's like a giant behemoth Hulk on those little bikes he likes. Driving around like Mario.
Next time Tommy Skelly sees you, he's going to punch you right in the mouth, right?
That's okay. I haven't been punched in a while.
That's all right.
Well, maybe I need it.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, after what we're getting, maybe it is.
So I guess where we're getting on this movie, right? I mean, it's not an action-packed movie, right? But
no.
There's not a lot of action in it. But
the build-up is perfect. The unfolding of the stories is perfect. The direction is perfect. The conversations are perfect. The body language. Old boy was speaking to both of his parents through doors. This is a grown man who can't walk into his father's office.
Oh, the supporting character.
And has to sit outside, and you could just tell that was his life. He walked right up to, he probably had footprints on the bottom of that fucking door, from where he's just standing trying to connect with his father.
And that was insane.
That was, that was deadly.
Yeah.
Those whole things are wild to me. You imagine having a dad who just told you to fuck off all the time? Bro, it's better not to have one, I guess, at that point.
At that point, you're better off not having one.
Yeah, for that guy, it's just, he was chasing everything, and there's just so many secret, giveaways at the beginning that just tell you where this is all going, and watching it unfold is phenomenal. How did we miss this one?
You could blame it on us for judging a book by its cover.
Right. Mostly because I'm scared of ghosts.
That's what you thought it was?
The ghosts are going to... Again, it was either that or somebody was hanging upside down in a fucking... in a butcher house, and I just was like, man...
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I'm not ready for Castor Troy, the R-rated version. I like the PG face-off version. Okay, I like... that's what I like.
I guess what we're really trying to get across here is, if you want to see a movie that was exceptionally well filmed with incredible direction, and it tugs on your heartstrings in different ways. It's not a love movie. Well, maybe it is a love movie.
It's an everything movie.
Yeah,
they had everything.
It covered the spectrum. It is a powerful movie.
That is why it's so confusing. I think there are too many stories. There are multiple stories. And here's another crazy thing too. We were saying, as I was saying earlier, the characters evolve, right? Most movies, you're watching characters barely evolve over extended periods of time.
And there's multiple characters who change throughout the movie.
Right. And
just because of their interaction with Nicolas Cage.
Right. In this movie, everybody's evolving within a day.
Yeah.
Because he's running around and just fucking sticking tacks in chests everywhere.
Everywhere he goes.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you. And that's a mess.
And it's never explained why he dropped off the grid.
No.
But you kind of figure it out at the end.
Maybe.
Lightweight.
We both, by the way, see opposite ends on that ending, which is also interesting, because now I want to know what Tommy Skelly's going to say to that.
Yeah.
He'll be like Nick Cage was going to be an astronaut.
Yeah, the end of the movie it leaves it open-ended.
Right.
The third act is left open-ended, and it could go a couple of different ways, which I thought was fantastic because there's no closure, which is rare. In most movies, they have to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? There's some kind of fucked up
Again,
closure.
it's just forced.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, and this movie was down to earth. Like, down to earth. Fucking creepy. Those are also horrible movies. Nobody wants to fucking watch a movie where when they get done, they feel like they've just had a whole week's worth of work. Right?
Oh, like when you ever seen the movie Spun with John Leguizamo? Where he plays a meth head?
I saw The Pest, which is probably the same thing.
No,
that was the child's version of that movie.
Listen.
Did you watch
Spun?
The Pest?
It fucks The Pest. Spun is fucked. They film it, and literally when the movie's over with, you felt like you've been doing math.
Ugh, that doesn't sound.
We'll
great.
watch the trailer.
Oh my, oh my. So,
I mean, in conclusion,
we need a truffle farm. Or
and
what
did you learn about truffles? What are truffles going for on the open market? Like the freshest
base price for fancy fuck truffles,
fresh out of the ground.
For expensive ones, $66K. I didn't find a per unit.
Per unit, okay.
No, but it started at 66, and I was on my list that I shortly went through was up to 200,000 for truffles, mate.
That's insane.
Truffles.
That's insane. And I thought morels were the most expensive mushroom. And listen, for
I bought
people,
my mushrooms from the corner grocery store, so I didn't think there was any expensive mushrooms. Not in our area, anyways. So, we need a truffle farmer.
But the crazy thing is, they kind of gave you a taste of what it's like. You ever watch shows on guys hunting ginseng?
No.
Oh, up in the mountains.
What?
So. Listen, there's several businesses that require gathering, right? Mushrooms being one of them.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right?
Mushrooms being one of them,
right?
Not like giant mushroom farms, right? Because there's certain things that you just can't grow.
That makes sense.
In captivity, for lack of a better word.
That would
right?
make sense.
Morel mushrooms, right? For the people that hunt morel mushrooms, morels just grow wherever the fuck they grow, and you can't transplant them. So when people find a grow of morel mushrooms, they don't tell a fucking soul where they are.
Well, I
because
wouldn't either.
People would go and harvest all of them, and then your shit would be lost, and they might not come back the next year, right?
Jesus.
And morels are super, super expensive. It's the same thing with truffles. Now, the other one is ginseng, right? The Asian market buys ginseng like it's going out of style, right?
Oh,
and you're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a pound, right? So for these guys that have up in the mountains of like Kentucky and West Virginia and down in Appalachia who find these ginseng patches, they don't tell where anybody is. They don't tell anybody where it is. And they got to watch for poachers because people will come and poach, right?
All right.
And it's the same thing they showed us in this movie here with the truffle hunters, right?
Right. Oh, that was an interesting scene when they came out and they were talking to that broad and she was
like a buyer.
What she was it seemed like the farmer or whatever.
She was like a middleman.
Yeah, she was
a
running all
buyer
the people.
for all the truffle people. And she was like, there's one thing I can't fucking stand. It's fucking poachers. And she was like, I'll drink their goddamn fingers. And I was like, whoa.
Right. Crazy.
It's crazy as fuck. But, I mean, this is like, in ginseng hunting, people get fucking shot over ginseng.
I mean, people get shot in any culture over anything that's taken seriously enough, right?
That has value.
That has, right. Especially when you say you're messing with man's money.
Getting in people's pockets.
That's a problem.
Right. And so you kind of think, right, in this movie in particular, that Nick Cage is going crazy about this fucking pig because that's his source of income, right?
Right.
But he doesn't take money from this guy. He takes goods in exchange for,
traded him
$70,000 worth of fucking truffles. He's like, I want a 10-pack of double D batteries or D batteries or...
Don't worry about socks or a bath. He offered him a bath.
The guy was like, I don't need
Do you want
bath.
a shower? No? Okay, see ya.
Bring me a can of dog food and some 10-pack of D batteries and...
some beef jerky.
I'll see you Thursday. All right. But...
That's a good life, though.
No, hey, listen, my man didn't need anything. But the interesting thing is that's what you think. right? That's what you think. Like, this guy's fucking with my income.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave you with, is that what this was really about? Because it could be taken lots of different ways.
Well, listen, Tommy Skelly.
Nicolas Cage. He's gonna be fucking fired up about this.
He's yelling at us right now. Nicolas Cage, I think, has earned a spot near the greats.
Near the greats.
And even if he hadn't with this magnificent fucking film, I would say that he probably has with the extensive, long, not a creeper career that he's had in Hollywood.
And listen, the argument that I keep putting forth is this. Nicolas Cage is not afraid to challenge his art and take any role that's put before him and become whatever character you need him to be.
And there's nothing else to say to that, is there?
No.
97 seconds.
Somebody let me out of this basement!